This is Dan Tortora here with Nunzio Campanile of the Syracuse Orange football program. Nunzio, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. So look at your job when we look at the side of things, when they talk about the head coach, kind of that associate head coach of the offense. What does that mean?
Great question. I think that Coach Brown and I have a really good relationship, and he'll come. We'll talk a lot about like situational stuff, personnel, that type of stuff. But really, my job is just to help kind of organize in any way that I can, help Coach Nixon in any way that I can, and kind of maybe be an intermediary with the players if need be.
And the quarterbacks is what you got shifted to from tight ends. Dan Villari, obviously we've seen him play quarterback, we've seen him play tight end. What type of weapon does he continue to be? I know a lot of people focus on OG, but you got to work with Dan, and uniquely he is a quarterback / tight end whenever you need him to be, whatever you need him to be.
Well, that's the thing is he's really, a Swiss Army knife football player. He's got so many skills. I mean, he's big, he's athletic, he's tough. You never know when he might throw a pass, because actually he has a tremendous arm. So I think he's the type of guy that the other team has to be aware of all the time. No matter what he's doing on the field, he could line up in the backfield, he could line up at wide receiver, he could line up at quarterback, he could line up at running back, and he can line up with his hand in the dirt and block somebody. And there's not a lot of guys in America that can do that. So he's definitely a unique weapon, and we'll just try to find different ways to use him every week.
You're from Fairlawn, Fran is from Camden. They're like an hour and 40 minutes apart. How did you first cross paths? How did that journey between the two of you first cross?
Ironically, we probably knew of each other because he was at Temple and I was a high school coach and I was at Rutgers. And then when we met at Rutgers, it's kind of funny, but we both say, we really didn't hit it off great in the beginning. And then, the more time we spent around each other, I think we found that we really share a lot of common ground, a lot of similar values. You hear Fran talk about Dart all the time, and I always say that that's exactly who he is, right? Detailed, accountable, relentless, tough. Like, that's who he is. And, I was raised that way very much. So I think we share a lot of the same values and a lot of the same beliefs. And one of the things that I noticed with him was how much he cared about his players, what a great job he did relating to them. And I always thought that when you see somebody that's that genuine with the guys they're coaching and they're that genuine with their family, you got to say, like, this guy's a special guy. And, when we were no longer coaching together, we still stayed in contact all the time. We're always talking about, the future and hopefully have an opportunity to coach together again.
And he's entrusting you, obviously, with the quarterbacks. When you were at Bergen Catholic, you had 7 All-State quarterbacks. One of the guys actually interviewed Matt Sims, Phil's son. So you had that, and then going to Don Bosco. Not only have you had experience with the quarterbacks, but you've had experience with the talent in New Jersey, which I think are two huge things as to, this staff itself, building that bridge to New Jersey and obviously speaking volumes to the signal callers and your experience. So just what you could say about having that New Jersey connection, as well as working with not only quarterbacks in Jersey, but really strong quarterbacks, a lot of them that made it to the NFL had opportunity.
Yeah, I think the Jersey thing is, having coached down there for so long, my dad being a coach, my dad's almost 80 years old and he's been coaching almost 60 years and then having 3 brothers that coach, you end up meeting a lot of people. And I think with that, you get access to a lot of really good players. You're always getting the heads up from, who's the next 7th, 8th grader that's going to be the guy, all that stuff, and I think we're able to build relationships that last a long time. And, Fran has the same type of relationships. He's always building those type of relationships. I think hopefully that, and so does Elijah, I think those are things that'll be really critical for us going forward. As far as the quarterback thing, and one of the things that's really neat for me is a bunch of the guys that I coached are now training quarterbacks, Matt Sims and Jarek Arantano, and it's really cool to see that, that they're, going to help raise the next generation of quarterbacks. My brother's running an excellent quarterback camp. So, you're always kind of able to find out, like, who are these next guys coming up? And you get a chance to watch them from a young age and see how they develop. And, they may not all end up at Syracuse. They may not all end up in Power 4 or 5 schools, whatever that is. But, hopefully you have an opportunity to help them get to the next place. And we try to do that with our camps and all that other stuff. So I do think it's really critical to have tentacles that reach down into the roots of the area, and hopefully we have the resources to do that.
And you mentioned your family. Obviously, Nick is at Bergen Catholic as the head coach, and then Vito's at Bergen Catholic, pardon me. Nick's at DePaul.
Yep.
And then Anthony, Miami Dolphins, linebackers coach. You mentioned your father, Mike, who you played for at Paramus, and were a quarterback and a safety. What has that dynamic been like? Because you all seem to challenge each other. You're all in it. And I would imagine in a family that ends in a vowel, there's probably some back and forth razzing, probably some competition.
Well, there's definitely a lot of competition, but the one thing is, I was raised in a super close family, and I think that we are incredibly supportive of each other. Between my brothers and my sister, their families. My mother's probably seen more football games than it's got to be any person in America. It's unbelievable. She had 3 brothers that played football too. So, I think when push comes to shove, hopefully we're a great resource for each other. Everything from the X's and O's stuff to the personal side of, hey, how do we get through to this player? What are the things that maybe you could use to help yourself become a better teacher, a better instructor, whatever, just a better all-around coach. I don't think there's a better resource in the world than my dad. He's been doing it forever, and I still think he's the best coach I've ever met. So, we're really all fortunate to share that.
And then getting to the quarterbacks, obviously Kyle McCord's had a lot of success. First 2 games, over 350 passing yards in both games, 4 touchdowns passing in both games. We saw him take off for a run. I know Fran's been razzing him about doing something like that. Just what you've seen from him, because we heard a lot of things coming in. Obviously saw him at Ohio State, but to see what he's done in just a couple games and one of the top quarterbacks in the country, as well as to speak on some of the guys behind him.
Well, I'm really excited, one, that he's had an opportunity to show everybody what we've been seeing since the day he got here. And, to be honest, didn't surprise me at all. As we went through the process, recruiting him, we thought he was the best guy in the country. We thought he was the guy that we needed to get here to help, run our program, and he's done a great job. He's done a great job on the field, but everything, his leadership, the way he is in the meeting room, the way he is in the weight room, the way he is on the practice field, all of those things are what you want in a leader, what you want in a quarterback. Working with him in a lot of ways in the meeting room, it's like having another coach in there.
Yeah.
Just how into it he is, how detail oriented he is. So everything that you're seeing on game day is what we see every day, and the expectation is we're going to see that again Friday night, and we're going to see it throughout the year, because those are the expectations that he has for himself, and certainly the expectations that we have for him as well. That we're just going to continue to get better. As far as the guys in the room, I think we got a great group of guys. Mike Johnson has done a great job of learning the offense in the short time he's been here. He's really mature, really smart guy, incredible athlete. He's played a lot of college football, and obviously his dad is an excellent coach, so he's got a great resource. Carlos Del Rio's done an awesome job really, learning the new system, and he's gotten tremendously better in the last, 10 months. And then, the young guys are doing a great job. Jakari's going to be a great player.
And just what you could say about favorite part of your job?
Coaching the players, man. We got an incredible group of guys here, and being here 2 years, I've had a great opportunity to build relationships with a lot of these guys. So, to see them have an opportunity to have success, how hard they work, there's nothing better than that, and we sacrifice a lot as coaches, but that's the payoff, seeing these guys have an opportunity to be successful and live out their dream. It's pretty awesome.